Good morning, everybody. Monday, fresh week in automotive. It's January 20th. Today, we're talking about insurance rising, F-150 Lightning production dropping, and the Pentagon going solar.
Everywhere I go, the people really want to know.
I did some calculations on that last
You
week.
You did do some
Got the old calculator out.
Yep. You did do some I was impressed because normally you're not the calculator guy. Normally that's me pounding it out. But then I see all these decimal points and everything this morning. I'm like, okay,
yeah, I'm a practical prove a point calculator guy.
Right, that's what it is. It's I got to prove a point. It's
good. So tell me this. A lot of the South has been under snow and cold weather and ice.
Look, Paul.
And last week, hold on, I have a question because I saw an amazing post. And last week, when we were at the Public Policy Show in D.C., you flew home from D.C. to Nashville and then stayed in a hotel next to the airport because you could not drive home.
Which I'm glad I did. Let me be clear, because literally everything was fine except for once I got to my neighborhood. And the problem with neighborhoods is here in Nashville, there's no salt, there's no trucks, there's no nothing like that, right?
Yep.
So for 3 days in sub 20-degree weather, all that was happening was packing and packing and
Squish
packing
it down.
And you know what that makes?
Absolutely.
That makes ice.
Big
it took me like 10 minutes to get home and another 4 minutes to get through my neighborhood just because like it was just a little bit dicey.
I saw a post from a guy who lives in Nashville. And he's a satire writer and an author and a speaker. His name's Jonathan Acuff. And he said he lived in the Northeast and now he lives in Nashville. He's lived there for years. He said the difference is in Nashville, he goes, the whole plan for snow is in a binder. He said, and when you open it up, there's just one page in there and it's a picture of the sun.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So we have sun coming today. It's supposed to be 40 and the snow should start to go away and then it rains tomorrow and then we're good.
Yeah,
right?
Then it's all over. It's all over. Yeah.
No, legit Saturday, my family and it was the worst on Saturday, right? Because it got even more cold and people had packed it down more. And so by Saturday, literally we live on a hill, like this type of slope, right?
Mm-hmm.
And literally we're just watching like SUVs and trucks. They just start down and then they just go.
The wheels just lock and they're just
locked up.
I feel like there's
done.
Like orchestral music. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, it was
could have made a great TikTok video. So wherever you are, we hope you're warming up a little bit. Up here in the Northeast, we're good because there's salt, right? But it's 25 degrees and it feels like it's like 55 now because it was like 7 over the weekend. We know a lot of you had the same scenario. Oh, Doug, good morning on the live stream. Go Lions. Look, it was a big weekend. I feel tied because the Lions made it
That's
through.
My heart team now.
I feel like
auto team.
And the auto, right? It feels like a win for auto. And like Sheila Ford is up there, team owner. She turned the team around. Like, I feel like this is an automotive story. And, we have a lot of friends who are Bills fans. And I'm sure, we have a lot of friends that are Chiefs fans. And but I think for me, it's the Lions from now on.
Yep. Did you see? Well, I sent you the Instagram post. Did you see the them chanting the same song that we had everybody complete the lyrics to at MRC?
Oh, was that what it was?
Yes. So
that makes sense. They knew the words. They knew the words. Hey, coming in hot, NADA coverage is going to be thorough and more than it's ever been. We hope you tune into our coverage for NADA. It's just 10 days from now. We're going to start on the ground on Thursday, the 31st. We're going to be all over the place at all the events, trying to bring you some insights from the field, some insights from what's going on the floor. Hey, and by the way, if you're having an after party, if your company's having an after party, make sure you go to asodu.com and just scroll down a little bit. You'll see a link. We want you to add your after party. We have a whole directory of all the after parties happening, and we need your party to be on there. So make sure you check that out. Let's get into some news, shall we?
Let's do it.
Talk about Ford too. But first, in 2023, the auto industry faced a wave of soaring rates, with the 10 largest insurers in the U.S. implementing not one, but double-digit increases, shaking up the market. The trend is attributed to higher claim frequencies, severities, including more severe crashes, more litigation around claims, and losses from weather and theft. Farmers Insurance led the charge, 17.6% average increase across 43 states. American Family and USAA, a huge insurer, right, hiked their rates by 17.5% and 16.9% respectively. Other major players nationwide, State Farm, also crossed the 16% threshold. Geico and Allstate, I'm happy because I'm Allstate, are amongst the biggest rate rises in 2022. They ended 2023 with comparatively lower increases. So the state of Nevada, highest rate increase at 28.3%, while states like Hawaii, North Carolina, and Colorado saw rates under 5%. So a lot's changing. Thanks. Steve Greenfield put this story in his Monday email, which I was like, let's talk about insurance rates.
Look, we talk about in the industry is affordability due to pricing and interest rates, but insurance is a massive portion of affordability. How many times you're sitting on the showroom floor selling a car, someone says, let me check my insurance on this car. And so as we see the changes in monthly payments on insurance change, that's also going to impact all of the affordability at the vehicle level. And so
then you stack EV on top of that. Stack EV, because we're always talking about like EVs being more expensive to insure because repair costs are way higher, and a lot of the unknowns, right? So I don't know. From an insurance and affordability standpoint, there's nothing really we can do about this except be aware about it. Be aware of it.
Yeah, just don't let people from Michigan drive everywhere else in the country.
Oh my gosh, all the way. Speaking of people from Michigan.
Us Ohioans have a problem with Michigan drivers. That's sorry about that.
Okay. That's how it works. Go. Okay. Ford Motor Company announced an adjustment in their EV strategy, scaling back production of the F-150 Lightning due to decreased demand, while simultaneously ramping up its focus on the Bronco and the Ranger. Not surprisingly, on Friday, they announced the reduction affecting 1,400 workers with a shift from 2 to 1 at the Rogue Electric Vehicle Center in April, or from April moving forward. The company plans to reallocate 700 of the workers to its Michigan assembly plant, where they are increasing the production of the Bronco and the Raptor. Despite the shift, they did sell 24,100 Lightnings in 2023, which was a big jump from 2022. But as you know, we've all been talking about that big plateau. Their restructuring is part of balancing their lineup, right? Gas powered, hybrid, and electric sounds really familiar. Toyota. We're taking advantage. Here's a quote from Ford CEO Jim Farley. He says, we're taking advantage of our manufacturing flexibility to offer customers choices while balancing our growth and profitability.
I mean, is this the part where we all just laugh? Is that sorry. Okay, so here's my commentary on this. Kudos to them for jumping in, saying, hey, let's move these places from one to the next. We've got opportunity to produce more of the vehicles that everybody's wanting out there. So let's be flexible and head in that direction. I can't imagine being one of these manufacturers, putting all of my eggs in one basket in 2023 and in 2024, having to adjust that in like spades. And then you see with Ford and even GM putting up these brand new plants that are just supposed to handle EVs, 4,000 job manufacturing plants. What are they going to do with those when those are set to come online? Will they see the demand ready, or are they going to have to retool those factories to appropriate the demand still on the ICE and hybrid vehicles?
I mean, it's a massive squeeze play that a lot of the American automakers had to take on. I think there's probably more pressure on a Ford to lean in on the EV because they're located here in the States. There's a lot of governmental pressure on EVs. And like, let's face it, like everyone's giving them a lot of flowers when they're making these decisions, when it really is a gigantic bet, not driven by consumer data. Now they find themselves in this position and all these plants in motion. Man, it'll be interesting. Toyota actually, has a little bit of an advantage here, I think, because they are not centered in the country. They do take a broader global perspective. And, so I don't know. I think it's a little mixture of being excited about the attention at the time. Right. And now it's just the consumer. Guess what? The consumer always wins.
The consumer does always.
And they're winning now. But speaking of, I don't know, speaking of energy, speaking of solar, speaking of renewable, speaking of electric, I don't know if we're winning or not, but just speaking of the government.
Stop.
We got there. We got there.
I don't know if we're winning.
Then the U.S. Department of Defense is set to install rooftop solar panels and heat pump system at the Pentagon, targeting a drastic cut in fossil fuel dependence. So they're playing their part, ladies and gentlemen. These installations are expected to cover over 95% of the space and hot water heating needs previously fueled by natural gas and oil. So the Pentagon, here's a little bit of data. The Pentagon has over 6.6 million square feet of space.
So crazy.
They're aiming for net zero, and they project doing all of this work with the solar panels and the heat recovery heat pump system will give an annual savings of $1.36 million. It's a part of a grant under the Department of Energy's EFFECT program. So they're using the government program for the government program. You know what I'm saying there? So
made me laugh.
It's 104. It's
No. We're not spending it.
No, we're not spending any of our money. It's their money,
which is our money, which is all your money.
Right.
Actually.
Exactly. But the 1.36 million, they're saving more than the grant is worth, so that's good. And we'll go with that. So it's $104 million grant usage as a part of the project. Here is the quote from Deputy Secretary of Defense Catherine Hicks. She said, by rethinking how we generate, distribute, and use energy, the Department of Defense is making our installations more resilient, better securing our critical infrastructure, and saving money. A win for warfighters and taxpayers alike. I will say one thing about this. The Pentagon roof space is ginormous, and there is no shade around that thing. So they got plenty of opportunity.
Every time we flew over it, when I was coming in on the flight into DC, and I'm always amazed. I've been in it before. I went on the Pentagon tour before they locked that sucker down tight. This is pre-COVID. Nice. It was amazing. Yeah. It was amazing. And the guy does walk backwards the whole entire time, keeping his eyes on his group up the escalator, never turns around, always looks at you while he's walking backwards and giving the tour. But the thing is with the Pentagon and the government, it makes sense from a security standpoint that sucker is self-sustained, right? I think that's probably the best argument. But when you think of it this way, I just did a little more math. So we figured out the energy cost and what it costs to heat an average commercial building. And I'm sure the Pentagon costs more. And you got to think about the 18 layers underneath the building that we don't know about. So here's the deal. It's going to save $1.36 million a year.
Got it.
Right. And at the grant of $104 million, which is still your money, it'll be a 75-year ROI, assuming energy costs don't rise.
We should be around that long. I
don't think so. I won't be around. I doubt it. I doubt I'll be.
Well, the Pentagon hopefully is around that long.
The Pentagon will be around that long.
Our grandkids might.
Yeah, our grandkids will just start to see that little bit of
the cost.
Oh my God.
Energy.
It's kind of a wonky Monday episode.
What a Monday.
I think this Monday deserves. Welcome to Mondays, everybody. Hey, look, the bottom line is whatever you're out there doing, there are things that you can affect right now, because you work with people, you serve people. So go out and serve people. Make it about so much more than cars. We'll see you tomorrow.